How's it going, everybody? Matt Carruthers back again with Antidote Outdoors. Today we're going to be showing you another installation of our rooftop tent series of installation. That's really the line? No, it's not clever. It's annoying, you dumb. In addition to our rooftop tent series, this is the clamshell rooftop tent. One of our more popular of the series, mainly because of the ability to have a low profile. That being said, with the low profile, there isn't as much clearance inside of the tent when it's closed, so not everything's going to fit inside of it. Your ladder, most of your hardware, it's going to come in a separate box. You can maybe fit a pillow or two in there. So all this is going to come out, and I will cover with you real fast what all this is, because it is slightly overwhelming when you first open this up. So, of course, the new roof rack that's going to go on top of this tent here will come with its own side bag. I've already gone ahead and installed one side of the roof rack just to make this video go a little quicker. But the longer of the bolts that come with the roof rack are made to slide inside of this track so that this mechanism can lock to the roof rack, which will then lock to the tent. You also want to see these fat nubby little bolts. These are going to go on the sides. These are the part that actually go into the tent. So as you can kind of see here, this locks on the side, this holds it to the actual bar on top. Of course, it's going to come with a ratcheting wrench. This is going to make your life for installing to the actual car so much easier. Here are your ladder mounting brackets. They come with the same bolts, same nuts that slide into the same track on the side of the tent. Two locking mechanisms. These are going to go on the top. These are going to go on the bottom. And of course, they have all of the same nuts and fat little bolts. Comes with two keys for your locking mechanism in case you happen to lose one. This is going to be the mounting bracket that secures the tent to your car. It's going to go underneath your car's roof rack, just like this. These bolts are going to slide into a track that's on the bottom of the tent and then are going to drop underneath here. And then you're going to attach it with the nuts that fit everything here. And like I said, this wrench is going to really save your life a little bit. Of course, next to this, these are going to be for all of your awning poles. One thing to note is that this hole is kind of diagonally drilled in. Make sure it's facing out, away from your window. When you're going to install it, put your bars in there first, and then connect it to the roof. Bend it up to the roof after that. And of course, we have a handle. This is going to install to the top of your tent along that same track here, just like everything else does. You're going to want to take into consideration the order of which you're going to put all this onto the tracks on the side of your tent, because you're going to want to work from the middle out. So first thing you're going to want to do for the front, at least if you decide to put your ladder in the front of the tent, you're going to want to put its mounting brackets on first, and then start working outward for the locking mechanisms and your awning mounting brackets. That being said, we're going to go ahead and shut down this tent, which is actually a new and improved way to do so. There's an elastic band. Do be careful using this elastic band. For instance, taking it off, it is still elastic. It does snap around pretty darn quick. If anybody's ever closed a rooftop tent before, you know usually you get wind pushing fabric all over the place. You're still going to get a lot of that, but it's going to make life exponentially easier having that band on there. Alright, so then, like I said, we're going to install our ladder rack on the very front. So we're going to go at that first, so that it doesn't impede with any of the other steps. The easiest way to get all of these started is to barely thread this in, just a hint, so you can control it by the head of the nut or bolt. Start in. Uno. Dos. Now we are not going to tighten these down all the way because I want to be able to move them to adjust for the size of how wide the tent actually is. Got those pretty close to tight there. So that goes, and you kind of want to center it because that's where your door is anyways. About there, then just come on in and finish tightening her down. You will be able to tighten those without actually having to really Armstrong it. They can secure pretty easily. There's that. So, step one, like I said, working from the middle out. Maybe. Bingo. Next. Now I'm going to drop the two lower of my locking mechanisms on. And another way to do all this is actually to use your little ratchet here, or your little Allen wrench, push it in, and then maneuver it around. There we go with those. Now same thing, just like the ladder brackets. Start getting these nice and set up. Now because of the bar right in front, this one is a little bit of a pain. Start working on the top half of the lid. And again, working from the middle out, I'm going to begin with my handle. Of course, for this, it's a different size, so you're going to have to use the medium size Allen wrench that comes with the tent. And of course, once you get all this on, you can become a little more nitpicky about where it adjusts and everything like that. Now, when it comes to the upper half of these locking mechanisms, you do want to be a little bit accurate at the very least with where they position. As you can tell, it's a tight fit. You do want your lock to, stay secure. So It's kind of hard to get on. It is a little bit of a pain, but we want it to be sure that it doesn't, you know, go flying off your car or anything like that. So, bend it to where it's not quite all the way down, but still not all the way up. This is going to give you a little bit better access to everything. And of course, I'm going to start with my nuts first. And of course, our real quick check. And then our double check that it's going to work. Bingo. So now our tent is lockable. You can rapidly unlock. There's your home for the night. And then, like I said, do be careful with this bungee. It can go flying. Just like that. Okay, so now we are going to take the skinnier of the screws, the skinnier of the square nuts. We're going to put on our awning brackets. These should go on last because they kind of have to force your awnings outward. But like I said before, it's kind of all up to your discretion, whatever you like, whatever order you want to put it on. This is your baby. Now again, when you're putting these on, be sure that that hole, which is drilled in crookedly, is facing outward. So now that we got those on, we can actually show you how it's going to look once this goes in. And again, I want to be sure that you stick this in first. This is drilled thin, so it can actually start to bend the metal that it's put on. Like that. Once those are there, that's a nice little entrance for your home at nighttime. With this being shown, if you don't want to climb to the back of your truck or the back of your car to try to get in with your ladder rack and all that there, these both sides awning out just like that. This opens 100%, and you can also put your ladder rack right here to climb in from the side of your car if you would like. With that being said, just don't forget to put your ladder rack mounting bracket on first, and then the awning poles next. So the awning poles are going to go exactly the same. I'm going to go ahead and put those on and get all that done. All right, so now that we've gotten everything attached to the sides, all that good stuff done, I'm going to show you how to put the ladder rack on if this is, if you bought the type of tent that comes with the ladder racks. If you hadn't, go ahead and skip past this part straight to when we're putting it on the car. But if this is the addition that you bought, I'll show you how to take care of this real fast. Now, I already skipped ahead. One of my brackets is pretty far on there. Super simple. These, the bigger of all the bolts, these heads actually slide into the track on the ladder rack that's going to go on top of the tent. It goes in crooked, so it's kind of goofy. There we go. So you just actually have to be sure that it's going in kind of crooked, kind of sideways, but they do slide in once they're there. Next, you're going to take the actual bracket and drop that on in. Sorry about the noise, we are in a delivery area. Now, one thing to mention, don't tighten these all the way down because you're going to want to be sure you can slide them around a little bit just to get the width right on top of the tent. Again, we're going to take our handy dandy ratcheting. Alright, so that's close enough. They can still slide, but they are in there. So now you're going to need 4 of your nuts and bolts prepped. Again, just barely slide these on so we can get them to go down the track on the side of the tent. I'm only going to do one of these roof racks because, well, it's pretty darn repetitive. Alright, so first bolt and nut in, next bolt and nut in. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Be sure you put them on the top half of your tent. This is where I was referring to making sure they're on the right side. Once it's up like that, you'll be able to use the wrench head again, so don't worry. Now this is going to sit a little bit up, so you're going to have to lift it up just a hint to make sure all your holes line up. Like, you know, I wasn't doing. Alright, so we've got those pretty close. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to maneuver it too much, but there is some decision making to be done when it comes to the forward, backward, what you're going to tow up here, how close they need to be. I know I just sold to somebody that liked to put a kayak up here, so of course he spread his to as far out as possible. I've also sold to a lot of people that just want to put luggage up here. With that being said, you don't need them as far spread out. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and tighten these ones down on the sides because we know they're going to be where we want them to be. Relatively straight. Again, you can mess with all of this on your own. And there's that. Okay, now I'm going to get my wrench back in here and just finish doing these down. Now I do want these to be pretty secure once they're up here because this is what's holding your valuables to your car. And we don't want to see those flying off in the middle of the freeway. Alright, so like I said, I know it seems like that was way too easy. It probably was, but new roof rack on top of your new rooftop tent. And so now if you want I'm gonna skip. You should throw your other one on while it's down here. As you can tell, anything that you want to put on the tent, you should do before it goes on top of your car. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this on top of my car, and then I will see you again when I'm ready to put the mounting brackets on. You can see, we've already thrown it up here. We have our one roof rack on, super stable. As always, be sure to note, especially if you have a hatchback, that you don't want it so far back that your hatch can no longer open. As you can tell though, this is the one thing that is kind of finicky about the clamshells, is now your ladder is supposed to hang off the back, and that's where a lot of people like to put it on the side. So just a mental note for that. But now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to secure it to the actual roof rack from underneath. You're going to start with 2 of the large head bolts of the 6 that come with it. So first thing you're going to do is take that large head, and it's going to slide into this track right here. Should fit pretty darn easy and smooth. Now I'm going to just give this a little lift. Make sure that's on both sides of your car's roof rack. Then easy enough, you can come in and get this first one started, just so it doesn't keep on falling down. And get your next one here. This is probably the easiest installation of all of the tents on the market, honestly. These large square heads are a game changer. Now here comes the tedious part, the obnoxious part. I'm incredibly lucky because of just how this roof rack on this Prius sits. It gives me plenty of clearance to get my arms under here. If you're rocking a 4Runner with a basket or FJ Cruiser, those have incredibly low clearance, and it is going to be a nightmare for you. So I'm sorry about that. Just best of luck with the tediousness of it all. Now, I'm not going to do all 4 of these just for time's sake. They are exactly the same. I'm sorry to take away that really riveting content from you guys. I know you're really looking forward to that. Forgive me. Alright, so as painless as that was, do it 3 more times. Definitely get all 3 points on, come back around, recheck your bolts, make sure it's secure. This is carrying a lot of weight up there. As you can tell, I even go as far as to bend the bracket a little bit. And yeah, just get them all on there. Be safe out there. Don't forget, like we said, remember the order of what you're putting everything on so that you don't box yourself out. And do enjoy. If you got any questions, hit us up anytime, and have fun out there, y'all. Howdy, howdy, howdy.